the Hammer and Airsoft Smith, showing you guys, or attempt to show you guys, how to fully disassemble the Mauser C96 M712 non-blowback gas pistol. Airsoft pistol, let's not forget that. So people out there don't complain to me about that, even though I'm short in the title, it's the Airsoft anyways. So first things first, there's going to be like a little disclaimer about this thing. This thing could be a real pain in the ass to take apart. You guys should know by now when I say that it's some real serious stuff. I said the same thing about the revolver, the Colt Python, and look at that thing. This is no exception. This thing's actually really dangerous to take apart. So I advise you, before you try disassembling this gun, wear goggles and probably a mouth guard. I'm dead serious, because there are these two metal pieces that are held in here. They're sandwiched in here, and they're held in by really thick, heavy-duty springs, and those two metal pieces will fling out anywhere. But luckily, I found out a way to disassemble this gun a different way than other people have. Excuse the introduction, but this is important. I've watched videos, I've only found two on YouTube, and I can only find the one again, I can't find the other. And the other has no words, just text. And the guy disassembles it like a champ. But when I tried disassembling it as he did in the video, I only got it to work once, and I scarred up my legs because the pieces flew out and hit me in the legs. I was sitting with my legs crossed, and yeah, there's that. Eventually got it back together, and it worked perfectly fine. Took me an hour to find a spring, but it's back together and it works. But another time I attempted to disassemble the gun, it ended up being a real hassle. Now, if you know me, you know I like to be able to take apart my guns. They should be relatively easy to take apart. Now, when I went about this, it just wouldn't happen. So I ended up putting a leather belt on the end of the muzzle here. These are empty. This is empty. These meaning the magazine and the gun itself. But the muzzle here, I put a belt there because leather won't damage the metal. And I took a hammer and knocked this section off. You'll know what I'm talking about when I get there. And this piece, this retainer, broke. That retainer is the real problem about taking this gun apart and putting it back together, because that retainer blocks the trigger mechanism from gliding under or around it. I'm not completely sure because I can't see what's going on inside. But here we go. The only tool you're really going to need to disassemble this Mauser is a flathead screwdriver, relatively large, maybe medium. I don't know, have the measurements, nor do I really care about the measurements. I just use what works without tripping out the screw. So there's a screw back here. This would be on your right side of the gun if you're holding it like so, in your left hand. Yeah, excuse that introduction there, I just felt like I really needed to know all that. I'm not wearing eye protection because ever since I knocked that piece out that you don't actually need, I haven't had the pieces fling. Then again, I'm being very careful too. Now there's a false selector switch on the side. You just take that out because that is essentially a retainer as well. And if it doesn't come out by taking it out like so, if you don't have nails that are long or whatever like I do, just take a pointer or something or a screwdriver and come on, man. There we go. Now this is essentially what holds the skeleton, the inner frame, to the exoskeleton outer frame. False selector switch is actually a retainer and holds it all together, but it's very stable. Alright, so here's the thing. Again, this won't be very easy for you if you haven't taken the gun apart before. Because when you take it apart, like I said, this piece will break off. So this won't be so easy for you. But gently, just with your thumb covering this spring here, just very gently, easy does it, don't want to disturb the spring there. There's another spring on, it's almost exactly parallel from this one on the other side. It's very, very, very awkward to do. Extremely awkward to do. The only thing inside the frame now is the mag release and the trigger. But this is the more complex area. And I see I'm already on like 6 minutes into this video, which sucks because I doubt I'm going to be able to fully disassemble this in that time. Because there's a lot of things I need to explain. Now very gently, with the spring facing up, because if it does come out, it will just go side to side rather than right at your face. The safety would just fall out. It probably would have fell out by now if you were taking it apart. Now, tightly grip everything in this plastic skeleton section here, the black section here, and just shimmy it down. And just keep doing it, and I think eventually it will just gotta like really wiggle it, because there's that false firing pin that's in the way. And the hammer kind of gets in the way. There we go. Be sure you try to remove that without cocking the hammer, or you seriously will launch one of those, or both of those springs. So now we got the skeleton section removed. I might have to do this in another part. This section might pop out, and this section might actually break, but it won't be that serious. This is another spring. It's held together with this section here. And I'm going to gently remove this section here. Now you're gonna hold this here, and you're gonna remove this here, and this will come out. Or actually, is that how I'm doing it here? Yeah, it is. And you want to keep these pieces together, like so. You do a similar procedure on this side. You just be very, very careful. Like I said, these springs are very heavy doodly. Excuse me. I just don't know where that came from. Very heavy duty. Now the hammer can come apart just by knocking this pin out, but I'm not going to go that far, because that's just, it's very simple. There's nothing else there. You just knock that pin out, the hammer comes out, there's a big pin, it only goes into one way. And I wouldn't mess with this firing pin here. It's just simply, you don't need to take that out ever, unless this section breaks and you can just glue it. Then up here, get the whole bolt assembly that comes out like butter. The inner barrel can come out, but I wouldn't mess with it too much. But it could definitely come out. I know this might seem a little half-assed, but I really don't like messing with this gun. And I'm just doing this to show you guys, because I did tell you guys I was going to do this. And then this all comes out here. Alright. And in the next video I'm going to show you guys how to put it all back together. Thanks a lot for watching. Oh, here's the trigger section. And I'll see you guys on the next part.